Obviously not all of my pictures are the same. The same size. Oh. Welcome to today's Q&A, you guys. Hope you're having an awesome day. We're going to be talking about some available positions that we've got here at Decker. So, as always, you guys, this is an opportunity for you to ask your questions, get them answered. So, this is how it works. If you have a question, please put it in the chat so that I can answer it as they come in. And let's make sure that I've got everything. There we go. Yeah, if you want to go ahead and ask your questions in the chat, I can answer them as they come in. If you're wondering about a specific area, the best thing to do is throw me your zip code. Put your zip code in. You can also do your city or state. Let me know where you're at. Let me know your experience. So if you want a complete answer on what we have available out of your area based off of your experience level, I can totally do that. I just need a little help from you by giving some details. And then we can get started. Right? That sounds like a plan to me. All right, so in the itinerary for today, we've got a little bit of information coming out from the communications department, so we're going to start right there as you guys filter in and ask your questions. Hey, Dean, how are you? I hope you're doing well today. You made it on 2 days in a row. That's fantastic. Made it yesterday as well. Absolutely. We go live every Monday at 4 p.m. Central on our Facebook channel as well. So we try to hit both locations, so whichever's easier for you. And of course, noon Central here on Tuesdays. Brake Safety Week is coming up in August, so you have 1 month to prepare. You shouldn't have to prepare too hard. This is something that you should be checking on a regular basis, making sure you're doing your pre-trips, your post-trips, checking your, basically your hoses, your tubings. That's the focus for next month. We just finished the safety week here, the CVS safety week here just last week, I guess on Sunday we finished that up. And that was focusing on driving habits, such as speeding, hours of service, basically anything like that. And today next month, the CVSA is going to be focused on brake violations. And that's like all encompassing. Anything that can make up the brake hosing. Chafing is the most common, but it could be tubing or brake installations. It could be inspections, maintenance, all of the above. So we want to make sure that you are well prepared. And as always, we've got some great tips for you on being prepared for Safety Week. But this should be something done on a regular basis so that your equipment is not just up to par, but beyond and excelling. Because at least if you know Decker, if you know anything about us, we do like to be top elite. You know, we like to be driven to be the best. So we want to make sure that our equipment and everything we provide to you is top of the line. And of course, this, as well as your support and what you do for us as well. So, right? That's where we're at. So who do we have here? We've got Dean. Awesome. Amy's on here. All right. Long time no see. Isham. Hello. Dean says, yep, my load got canceled. Oh, I've been waiting for another plan. All right. Well, hopefully not much longer to get you rolling. Ghana. Isham is out of Ghana. Wowzers. We do require that you have so in response to Isham's question, we actually require that you have a U.S. driver's license for at least 3 years before we can obtain you for a driving position and go through training and everything like that. So you do need to have a U.S. driver's license for at least 3 years. All right. But we appreciate the interest and just keep us in mind once you have that, unless you've already have it. If you already have it, awesome. Let's take the next step. Speaking of the next step, this telephone number that you see, 888-668-0698, that's the number to get a hold of our recruiting department so that we can answer your questions, get your application going, get you approved, set you up for orientation and success and all of that around. You can also apply online at drivedecker.com. And then we can go from there. What do we got here? Awesome. That's fantastic. Okay, cool. Tanya says, we had a question on Billings, Montana, whether or not we could hire out of there. We can. However, we have a terminal in Missoula, Montana, so it is required currently that you would have to leave the tractor and trailer in Billings, or excuse me, in Missoula if you live in Billings in order for us to hire there. As of right now, that's the case. That's good. We've been working with and trying to get some loads out of there. It's just a terrible landing spot for us. So we want to make sure that we can make that work for you. We want to just fill you in on that group. So, all right, for the update. Thanks, Tanya. Always looking out for us. Appreciate that. Okay, what else do we have? So let's talk about those tips for the brake safety. Brake Safety Week, that's coming up in August. Yes, it is August 21st through the 27th. 21st through the 27th. So yes, you do have a full month to prepare. All right. Inspect those hoses. Like we said, this is the whole brake unit. Brake hoses, tubing, everything. So inspect those hoses, inspect those tubes. It should be part of your pre-trip and your post-trip on each and every load. So make sure that you're doing that. That's going to really catch a lot of issues. The majority of the issues that you have, I should say, not because if you don't have the issues, you don't have the issues. But if you do, it'll catch the majority. And then of course, report those issues immediately to your maintenance department by the DVIR. All right, so we have the TransFlow Geotab system in our truck. You have the option to go into the driver vehicle inspection reports and enter in that information. If you're reporting it, then we can keep track of it. We can get that cleaned up. We can get that updated and everything for you. So that's in the DVIR section of the TransFlow unit, the Geotab unit on the trucks. Okay, and remember, it's the tablet that's provided to you for communications to the shop, your driver manager. All of our communications to you, well, not all, but it does include quite a bit of our communications to you. We also provide, resources through our Facebook group and our Facebook page, TikTok, YouTube, lots through YouTube, Instagram, all of our social media platforms as well. So it's all right there, ready for you to absorb. We also have an email that goes out every week. It's currently scheduled for Monday afternoons, which is called our What's Happening Inside the Triangle. It's our newsletter available to you. Any updates that we feel need to be addressed, really focused on, we'll send out in an additional, like a solo email. We also have Luma Learning, so it's enuggetlearning.com/Decker. That is for a lot of our updates when it comes to that additional resources, such as this quarter is our third quarter safety training. That's provided through our Luma training, which is again located at enuggetlearning.com/Decker, and the focus is on coupling and stuff. And we'll get back to that, but lots of communication modes of communication. So also look for brake hoses that are making any contact with any steering, suspension, brakes, or components or tires or frames or anything like that, or the frame or anything like that, because it is going to rub or wear faster if you find that it's making that connection. So you've got your pre-trip, your post-trip. Obviously, you're reporting those, and during your pre-trip and post-trip, you are looking for any rubbing or contact between the hoses and the tubing and any other aspect of the truck. So listen for air leaks. Another tip there. You can identify the location of those leaks often if you can hear them, and make those necessary repairs before you take off, before you leave. Brake hoses should not be kinked or improperly repaired. If they're kinked, obviously it's not getting through all the way. So please make sure that you're you're checking those kinks as well. And our airlines shouldn't be dragging down underneath or touching the tractor deck frame. They should be up, lifted up, and obviously off the ground and off the frame and everything else. Again, don't want them rubbing. When you find that an air hose or a tubing is making contact with other components, you need to check for additional abrasions, rubbing, wear, and then protect and secure and move that hose to prevent additional wear and tear and abrasions to occur. So make sure that you repair it, and again, report it with the DVIR. If a hose or a tube is chafing, make sure that, first of all, you discover what's causing that sort of reduction in diameter or the thermoplastic hose. And then if you see the secondary white color that's on the hose, if it's visible, that means that a violation has occurred and it has to be fixed. And again, a lot of what we're doing here is preventing the violations, which violations identify areas of safety concerns. Okay, that's why there are violations, because your safety is the most important thing out there. And we need to make sure that we are doing our due diligence, and you are doing your due diligence in order to take care of that. So if a hose is worn, and well, basically if it's worn so the reinforcement ply is cut, or if it's abraded or whatever, it's out of, basically it's in out of service condition. So if it's worn out, and again, if you can see the white color, if that's visible, then that's a violation. But it's an out of service condition and needs to be replaced immediately if the hose is worn out and the reinforcement ply is cut or abraded. So make sure all the repairs are consistent with the manufacturer requirements and the guidelines. You know, don't half you know what it, right? ZXCVB 2009, the fourth. What's this say? Amy says, how's the fire season? I see Helen has got one along with salmon. Fourth, huh? We've trying to see if we haven't been so bad actually yet, in at least in my area. I should say that, I should rephrase that, because they are bad in other areas, but we have had here in central Montana about 3 weeks of hardcore rain. The bad part about it is, of course, hail has come and destroyed a lot of the crops, and that's obviously affected not only just the crops, it has affected a lot of the buildings. Eastern Montana got hit real hard with some tornadoes, it looked like, as well, here yesterday or the day before. Yeah, fire season is I'm sure it's on its way. You can see the coloring of the grass in the fields just getting lighter and lighter every day, even though we're still getting some rain. Right now it's not at the amount that we need to keep us going. So yeah, but thankfully we did get some. Yeah, I'm with you. Thank goodness. What a blessing, right? Absolutely. All right, so be prepared for brake safety. You've got a month to prepare for that. Let us know if you have any questions. And of course, get the trucks into the shop if there are any areas of concern. Speaking of areas of concern, well, or reminders, I should say, we have our hours of service. You need to verify your logs every day. Remember I mentioned that we use the TransFlow Geotab system in our trucks. That's going to take care of our hours of service, so as well as our communication to our driver managers, your dispatch, all of that. But if you are not certifying your logs every 24 hours, then you will be in violation. That actually, it's worth 3 CSA points for a DOT inspection, or within a DOT inspection, if you have found that you missed or have an hours of service violation. That's one of the most common violations, and all it is, it's not that you've done anything, it's not that you're running illegal, it's the fact that you did not certify your logs to show that you're running legal. And that's just a constant reminder. That's just a habit that needs to happen. If you guys have any questions whatsoever when it comes to the RCSA or any specific questions on how to improve your scorecard and everything, get a hold of us at 515-574-4327. And that is going to be the safety department that you're going to be reaching. Speaking of the safety, last week we had rolled out our 61st episode of the podcast. And I know, Amy, I know you've been waiting for that. I know you are one of many who was very excited about the Inside the Triangle podcasts, as well as I am. And we had Patrice, we had Rick George, and we had Darren all meeting up to talk a little bit about our safety, the TCA Truck Driving Championships, kind of give a little background. Patrice was the 2012 Nebraska Grand Champion and awarded all kinds of goodies, and every state does a little bit different for the awards. I believe Lyle got a belt buckle. Lyle Turville, when he won Montana here just last month, he got a belt buckle. Now he has won both the 5-axle and sleeper berth at this point. He won in 2019 as well as, 2019 as well as 2022. So he will be representing us as well as Dean. We have both of them representing us, Dean Filmer in, where am I at? Not Philadelphia. Where are we at again? Indianapolis. That's where it's at. It's in Indianapolis in August. So we're excited about that. That should be a lot of fun. Yep. We also had, so not only did they talk about the truck championships, but they also talked about the road check inspection blitz, which happened again last week, just as a reminder. That was CVSA road check inspection blitz. And then we have the new lytic system. We wanted a little bit of background on that, how the installs were going, how that was going to be affecting our drivers, how the scorecards are going to work for it, all of that. And Lindy also met with Tammy O'Toole, our VP of admin and communications, and the two of them met and discussed lytics a little bit more in depth with covering a lot of the frequently asked questions that we've had. So we compiled all of those questions and put them together into an easy PDF for you to view. And then, of course, speaking of, let's make sure that we get that uploaded into our driver group. Upload lytics to Facebook group. All right. Make sure that I got that done. And those who are currently on the Smart Drive score, or like the Smart Drive monthly bonus, you will continue to be on that until you're switched over to the lytics system for the safety. So our monthly safety bonuses has people on Smart Drive and some drivers on lytics. And as you transition over, the month that you transition over will use your previous month's numbers for the bonus, and then after that you'll just continue on lytics. Now that being said, the way that you're scored on Smart Drive and lytics, so for the total safety, is going to be the same. If you score 20 points or below, you will get a penny per mile on all the miles that you completed for that previous month. So huge. Dean says, having some technical problems. Am I? I'm having technical problems? Oh, I apologize. I'm not sure why. I hate it when it looks all smooth on my end and then it's not on yours. Sorry about that. Yeah. All right. Yes, so what else do we have here to talk about? Oh, I mentioned the Luma training. Yes, that's what I wanted to. Sorry, Dean threw me off. We got technical problems. Luma training, the quarterly safety training is going on, and you have until the 1st of August, so you have just a couple weeks. Couple weeks until that quarterly safety is due. That's the 3rd quarter already. We're going to be talking about slips, trips, falls, and getting out and looking, uncoupling, coupling, uncoupling. All of that's going to be focused in on the Decker safety training, the quarterly safety training, so make sure that you get logged in. Your username is going to be your driver code. It'll be all lowercase, and then your password is the last 4 of your digits. Last 4 digits of your social, and you can log into enuggetlearning.com/Decker. Fernando says, what is y'all's biggest commodity with Reefer? Great question. We haul, we've got a really strong customer base, but I would say the majority is going to be pork or chicken. That's in the refrigerated units. Well, it depends on the area. So we do a ton of produce in the Northwest. We do a ton of pork and chicken and a lot of ice cream loads, and we'll do some pharmaceuticals, but I would say that the biggest, and then of course beer, alcohol, we do haul that as well in our Reefer units. Oh, I missed a comment. I'm sorry. Can you opt out for the driver-facing camera? No, actually, with both the Lytx and our Smart Drive system, the inward and the outward-facing camera are part of the system, and no, you can't opt out. However, it's not a constant feed or a live feed. Like, I couldn't go in there or anybody in safety for that matter, anybody here at Decker couldn't just go in and see what you're doing. You know, like, oh, what's Joe doing today? You know, like, we couldn't do that. However, it does record onto its little unit. So if an accident or a critical event occurred, it could pull 10 seconds before and 10 seconds after, and then we'd be able to access that clip if an incident occurred, but only when an incident occurs. We can't actually go in and see anything. And those cameras are clearer than before. So if someone goes to cut you off, you know that happens, it sucks, but you know it happens, then we can actually see the license plate on this new Lytx system, where we weren't able to, you know, decipher it half the time with the other one. And where it's located, it has a better angle. So this is going to be located in the center of the windshield. And yes, for those of you who have the 389s, the newer Pete's, you know, with the split window, then we do have a special unit for that for angling as well. But it's centered in the middle so that you can see your visibility is open a little bit more. So, yep. Yes, but it won't be an option with the new one. So here's the deal. One of the main reasons for this is insurance. The cost, especially for those who with a lease purchase or owner operators who don't currently have those inward and outward facing event recorders, you get hit hard with insurance. And that's a big factor for these units. It's also a saving grace for a lot of you if, like I gave the example of someone cut you off, and most of the time, if it's not a professional driver that cut you off, it's a professional driver who gets blamed. And you guys know that. I mean, you've seen it over and over. Well, this is really just, you know, proving yourself innocent is what it does. And it does a good job of it. Dean says he's been opted out since 2018. Yep, we have. But talking to Rick George, and Patrice, they said that you won't have that option with the Lytx system. And that was the reasoning that they gave us. Make sure that you guys listen to the podcast if you can, because it does provide a lot of great insiders in there. I thought I missed another comment. Give me 1 second just to scan this real quick. Driver facing camera from our, yep. I thought there was another thing I was going to tell you. Oh, it does. So it shuts off. The interior one obviously shuts off when the truck is off. I think it is a few minutes delay. I think it's like a 15-minute delay as it shuts off, but for recording into its little unit. But remember, it's not live feed at all. And you can cover it up. If you're not driving, you can cover that sucker up. That's totally cool. That gives peace of mind to a lot of people. Lytx constantly records as long as the light is on. It's no matter what Decker says. Lytx website says this is true. Remember, it is recording into the unit, recording for anybody to see unless an event happens where you have to go and pull it. That's where I'm trying to decipher between, like, it's not a constant live feed. It is not. You have the option, and on the Lytics website, if you go to the Lytics website and you go in and kind of explore a little bit about it, you will see that it's a live feed. But Decker did not opt in for that. And I cannot stress that enough. That is not an option we opted in for. We did not want it. We wanted it for safety, and that was it. We don't need to know anything else. Cool. But yes, you're right. The website does say that. But like I said, it's an option. There's quite a few options that we didn't opt in for. One of the options is that we did go for is audible alerts instead of the beeping, because the beeping was bothering people. And the lights. Here's another response actually to your comment about the lights. When it's doing an update, there will be lights that go on. I think is it green light? Oh, come on, I can't remember. But I think it's a green light that pops on, and it will update between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. Every day. So, but if you're driving, which obviously some people are going to be driving during that time, then it'll continue to update and record into the unit at the same time. But if you're in sleeper berth, if the truck is off, it'll have its updates and a light will come on. It is not recording. It is not recording at all. Not into the unit itself, not feeding to anywhere. But the light will come on when it's doing its updates. But it's a small light. He says it's like 30 minutes versus 15 seconds. Not 15 seconds. 15 minutes is what I was told. Yeah, 15 minutes. Not 15 seconds, though. Yeah. Yep. Okay, cool. Any other questions on the Lytics system? Make sure that we're covering all our ground. Let's see. Yeah, there's quite a bit on there that we aren't opted in for. Looks like we have another question out of Missouri. Okay, so when asking about location-wise, Spokane, we do have over-the-road refrigerated. We also have the option to get you home on more of a run a little bit more regional, 7 to 10 days out instead of 2 to 3 weeks out at a time. You won't have as many miles probably because you'll be cutting some miles short, but you still have got good miles, a little bit better home time for you for those who are looking for more home time options. And yeah, that's the refrigerated division. You have the option of coast to coast or regional. The pay per mile is the same. The guaranteed is $1,000 a week. So yes, you'll have that option. But you could choose which home time is going to be better for you, which you would prefer. Dean says people that never shut their trucks off will have the cam on all night. Right. But please shut your trucks off. Obviously, if it's too hot or too cold, that's going to be a different circumstance. I think it's 10 degrees and 90, where you're going to have to run your truck. But in the most cases, yep. why are you recording 15 minutes after the truck is off? Remember, it's recording into the system, not to us. That is a Linux thing. That, as far as I know, that's just how their system works. I don't know. I think it's because of the pre-trip and post-trip, but can I get back to you on that answer? Because I don't know that answer. I do not. Where's my pen? You know what? Let me ask here. I'm going to ask. Give me a second here. I'm just going to type a message. Let's see, where are you at? Hey Mike, how are you? Is that for the Linux system, Mike? But please remember, I said that if the truck is off, you can cover it. You can cover it. That's why I think it's a Linux thing and just the way that the camera works. I don't know the answer to that. I'm going to find out here. I've already put in a question to safety, so hopefully I get that answer during today's live so that I can actually tell you. But Mike says that you can just turn it off, because since it will continue to run for those 15 minutes, you can just turn it off by following it by 5 9s, 999. And I've seen that by some of our other drivers as well. But yeah, if that works for you, safety has said that you can just turn it off. Cool. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. All right. Yeah, so the reason we went to the Linux system instead of Smart Drive, from Smart Drive, I should say, well, there's a couple reasons, actually. It's an upgrade. So instead of the 3G or 4G, it's 5G. So we've gone up a G. So that's improved. We have, instead of 4G, it's 5G. That's exactly right. Sorry, I couldn't remember if it was the other way. And it is, the update is between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. and it'll run, it's run daily. It's just basically a health check. It'll do its updates, and it won't be recording unless you're driving. If you're driving during that, or if it's a triggered event, then it will, but otherwise it won't. And remember, driving, it records onto the unit. Triggered event is when it kicks it to Linux to review and then send to us. But the Linux system and the Smart Drive system are set up to mirror each other. Well, Linux is set up to mirror Smart Drive, but in a better way, the new and improved. It's real-time trigger events that you can do. So you can go on, you have an app that you can access, and if something does trigger, you'll be able to see it. You'll be able to access that. Driver accessible app is what I mean by that. So better technology. There, besides those updates and stuff, there aren't all those lights and stuff to distract our drivers, and as well as that additional beeping, better visibility, less obstruction because of where it's located, which is better protection for you in the event of an accident, which again is why insurance is pushing for it as much as they do. Yep. So that's what it is. We did make some adjustments right out of the gate because for those who had like high-vis shirts and you're wearing the seatbelt, obviously you need to wear the seatbelt, but they because it's an AI and it goes off of it's looking for that color of the seatbelt, and if you're wearing a high-vis shirt and it blends in, it can't see it, and so it would monitor or notify us that yes, there's a seatbelt violation when there wasn't. You have a seatbelt on. It's just it matches your shirt because the AI technology. That's what it's looking for. That's what triggers that specific one. Then then we had to make an adjustment for that because obviously some people are wearing those. Yeah, so then you won't have that beeping or annoyance at that point. Triggered events are going to be like hard braking, following too close. Again, same thing as smart drive. Hard braking, following too close, distracted driving, erratic lane change, speeding or speed gauge, lane departure. Those are all going to be triggered events that initiate it. And there is a panic button. But a couple of people have made mention, and we're trying to figure out how to get around this. I think this is how it'll work. But the panic button, if there's a concern of yours that you need us to pull, then what you do is you can push the panic button. The other option is, like I said, it's recording into that unit. So as long as you tell us soon enough, we can request that time frame, but you have to send in a notification saying this time frame and then hit that so that we can go and obtain it. Otherwise, we can't access it. So that's what that panic button is for. Mm-hmm. Rick says, my camera has been covered for a long time, so I know it's not sending off incident reports. Okay. Is it the lytic system? I still don't have an answer on that, so I'll keep my eyes open on that. Okay, so the other thing is the outward-facing camera. The outward-facing camera, that'll stay on for up to 4 hours after the engine is shut off. That's being tested, and so some of them, we might reduce it to 2. So that one we have a little bit of control over, they said. Oh, ZXCV. Let me correct myself. She is saying it shuts off after 15 seconds of truck ignition being switched off. 15 seconds. So let me look into why you're seeing it for 30 minutes. So I was wrong. I apologize. It is 15 seconds. I'm correcting myself. In your case, please let me figure out why it's recording for longer. And maybe it's not. Maybe the lights are just on. But let me find out for you. Was there video that was accessed? Like, was there? Because my understanding is when it's shut off, there is no video coming at all. They did extend it for 4 hours on the outward facing one, just in case if someone was backing into you in the middle of the night and then leaving, and it'll help recoup some of the damages. But she says 15 seconds. I'm incorrect with the 15 minutes. 15 seconds, she says. All right, but I'm still waiting for... I'll still figure out and let them know that yours is showing for 30 minutes and find out why. Okay. Anything else on that part? Nope. Okay. Okay. Well, please remember to watch or to listen to the podcast as well. I think what I'll do is I'll get that up and rolling for you guys on our YouTube channel as well, if that's easier for you. Mike says type in 9999 and it will shut off the camera in the old system. Oh, in the smart drive. I got you. I thought maybe you were talking about the new one. 15 seconds. And this is saying the reason is for the 15 seconds, so you don't have to remember to, but it is 15 seconds. And 15 seconds isn't bad. If it was 30 minutes, then we got to figure out what the problem is. And are you seeing it every time? ZXCVB 2009? Are you seeing it every time? Because that'll help. Okay, I'm gonna find the answer to that though, because I'm driving me bonkers. Speaking of finding the answer, yesterday we were talking about the Epic View satellite TV, and for those of you who were looking for baseball, now you can call the number that we provided yesterday. You can call and get the additional lineups. We have the NFL Sunday ticket, but CBS or TBS 247, CBS, we don't have the one that you guys were looking for Cubs. So I'll keep my eyes open on that one as well. Hopefully we find out more on that, but I know a couple of you guys were asking for baseball channels. We have the core package, which covers, the travel channel, the game channel, the MLB network. Yeah, but I don't know. The MLB network isn't on here. I think they were looking for, TBS is two, but I think it was CBS as well that they were looking for. There were two channels, and it wasn't necessarily, the MLB network would be great. But that wasn't the specific one that they were calling out yesterday. Was it? Mike, is that the one that you were asking for? I thought, because I know you and there were 2 or 3 people, 3 of you that were having conversations about it. But that one we don't. So still trying to find out the right info for you to upgrade. As of now, wishful thinking. I know. But that 'tis the season for that, right? Literally? Right. Okay. I know I'm coming up here in just 15 minutes or so. And I do want to answer a couple of questions that have come in. Let me see. Warsaw, Missouri. Right? Warsaw, Missouri. Let's see what I got out of there for you. So we've got flatbed out of your neck of the woods. So Joshua, if you have flatbed, do you have flatbed experience? Because we have over-the-road flatbed, which would get you home about every other weekend. No refrigerated out of your area, just flatbed currently. Yep. And if you don't have flatbed experience, we can train in your area because you're close enough. So we can train if you don't have the flatbed experience. Mm-hmm. Oh, so you're making it easy. Mike, you just wanted it easy on the MLB. You don't have to worry about trying to find the right channel for the right team, huh? That's probably the smart way. Yeah. It works. Robert says, Lubbock, Texas. We have refrigerated and flatbed, over the road refrigerated and flatbed out of the Lubbock, Texas area. Get you home about every other weekend in the flatbed. It does require that you have at least 6 months of flatbed experience or a year of tractor trailer, and then we can train you in the flatbed. Josh says, hey Josh, what you doing? Let's see, 2+ years. Oh, 1 year to date with the lease purchase. Whoop, whoop. Awesome. Nice work, Josh. I love it. We have over the road refrigerator. We've got some team opportunities in your area as well. As of tomorrow, 2+ years with Decker. Yes, checking to see what's all available in area Reefer. So we've got, yeah, we don't have flatbed, but we do have OTR refrigerated, solo and team opportunities. And that's out about 2 to 3 weeks at a time. Yep. That's pretty cool. Doing well with it. He keeps a great track of all of his stuff as well. Dean says he's got his phone volume all the way up. I can turn it up a little bit. It might be a little loud for everybody else. Okay, is that good? Is that better? I'll talk louder. I feel like I'm yelling half the time. I shut my AC off and turned on the tornado fan so I can hear you. Okay. All right, I did turn up the microphone a little bit, so hopefully that helps as well. I'll try to talk louder. Get closer to the microphone. All right, so running areas. Yes, if you live in Seattle, since that's the question coming about, you've got the over-the-road refrigerated as a solo position, but also team. Now, with your experience, you've got 2 years of experience in refrigerated. You can start off at 57 cents a mile as a solo driver, 57 cents a mile. As a team driver, the truck will get 60 and each driver will get 30 cents a mile on all dispatch miles. So all of the miles that are ran, whether it's from driver A or driver B, as part of the team, you'll get paid on all miles. But it'll be 30 cents a mile, 60 cents a mile total to the truck. That is just the base pay though. As a team, you have levels or intervals. So if you're running between 18, okay, before I give you these levels, I'm going to tell you that the majority of our drivers are running between 6,000 and 6,500 a week as a team. Okay, so you're running well over 18,000 miles a month. However, our tiers are between 12 and 14,000 miles a month. You'll get an extra 2 cents a mile to the truck, an extra 4 cents a mile between 14 and 16,000 miles for the month. 16 to 18,000 miles is an extra 6 cents a mile, and all miles over 18,000 is an extra 8 cents a mile to the truck. So 4 cents per team member. That being said, it's basically going to split. So you've got 30 cents a mile every single week, where 25 cents is taxed per driver and 5 cents is not taxed per driver, because that's the per diem. And then that'll be paid every Friday direct deposit. Make sure that you have all your paperwork in by Sunday in order to get paid on Friday for it. Then you have the additional cents per mile, which is based off of the tier that you ran, which is most likely 18 or above, for that extra 8 cents a mile, 4 cents per person, and that's going to be split to the truck. So you will see that on usually the third pay period of the following week. So once your miles are calculated for that previous third pay period of the following month, is what I meant to say. Once the miles are calculated and completed, and that's when those are figured and that additional amount is paid out. So that's going to be roughly, I don't know what, let's look. Okay, so 24, if you're running 24,000 miles for the month, that's going to be an extra roughly $1,000 per team member. Mike says, I've tried teaming. You can't sleep with the truck moving. I know. I imagine. Dean says that's a little better. I'd turn the AC back on. Okay, that works. That works. Okay. All right, that's good then. Sorry about that, you guys. Appreciate you bearing with me on it. But yes, we do have that team opportunity as well as the solo opportunity for the over the road. Now with the teams, we're looking at a lot of Midwest, and Northwest. So a lot of back and forth there. Now this is the only exception to this, but if you're a team and you're running any of our bread loads, those are hands-on. So that's touch freight. I don't want to scare you with the touch freight because it's rolling carts on and off. They're heavy carts, but you're rolling them. So you can definitely do them. Yeah, anyways, if you have questions about it, I can get with some of I know Lydia Dietrich, she took a few minutes to kind of go through and explain how easy or how doable the putting the carts on and off are. And one thing that she mentioned, now Robert and Lydia were our drivers of the year, our team drivers of the year for 2021, sorry, what year is it? For 2021. And that was one thing that she mentioned, is that rolling them on and off, it's definitely doable. She highly suggests that you kind of talk to the warehouse that you're dropping them off at, because sometimes it makes a huge difference to them if you roll them over here about 15 feet versus just rolling them down. And she said it doesn't take any time really for you, but it makes a big difference for them. And she's all about making it smooth and easy for them. So yeah, but it's definitely doable. That's the only touch freight that you'd have. And those are the bread loads. You're rolling them on and you're rolling them off, and it is a team load, so you can have both of you doing it, but in most cases, a lot of you do one at a time, or, one driver does it at a time. So it just depends on the individual. Super easy if it's the two of you. I shouldn't say easy, because everybody's ability is a little bit different, and mobility, so I should say it isn't, they just aren't as intimidating. They shouldn't be as intimidating as many people believe them to be. So, but that's the only hands-on. The rest of it, a lot of that Northwest to Midwest freight is not going to be hands-on. That's going to be no touch freight, just like our solo positions is no touch freight. So it's only if you get on those bread loads. Cool. All right. Excellent. Okay. We also have, Dean says, Dean, I knew you would come through with me. Lydia and Robert won in 2021 and 2019. Yes, they did. And Cindy and Todd, 2020. Yes, for our teams. Absolutely. And then 2018 was the Carnahans. Right? Did the Carnahans have 2 years in? Were they 2017 and 2018? I can't remember. I'll have to find out. Okay, awesome. Okay, so for more solo positions as well as team opportunities, feel free to reach out to us at 888-668-0698. Of course, if you have questions, you can throw them into the chat. That's totally cool. But you can talk to a recruiter directly about your area. One thing that I want to note about the teams is Gary and Judy were 17 and 18. Okay, cool. One thing I want to note about the teams is you need to live in the same location. So husband-wife teams work great because obviously same location. And the reason being is it makes it so much easier on the planners and your dispatch. Otherwise, you're splitting locations and you're doing solo here to get the other one over here, and then you're staying out. Be from the same location. Then it'll make it a lot easier. And in most cases, 2 to 3 weeks is the minimum that we're looking for most of our over-the-road teams. There are exceptions, especially if you live in, like the Chicago area or Colorado, then yes, you can. But Yuri, yes, please ask your questions. Go ahead, put it in the chat. Let me know what you have for questions. But yeah, if you live in Chicago or Denver, those are usually pretty good areas. Can get you home maybe a little bit more often. But in pretty much any other area, to keep the momentum going and keep you moving, 3 weeks is a great time frame for our teams. So please keep that in mind for excelling. And I know some of our teams stay out longer than that, but it just depends on how you like to run and what you prefer. Now, we do allow dogs, I should say. I was going to say pets, but no, dogs. We do allow 1 dog up to 80 pounds. Might be a very full truck if that's the case. Or 2 dogs, no more than 40 pounds combined. So you do have that option. Yep. Yeah. Yuri, what's your question? What can I answer for you? Team freight will consist of a lot of, like I said before, produce and what our goal is to have them preloaded for you, so you're not wasting the time with loading and unloading. Ideally we could do that in all aspects, but yes. My friend actually recommended this channel to me. Do you know what school? What school did you go to? Or what school did he go to? I need a last name. What about cats? Nope, no cats. No cats. Oh. Nope, don't know him. ZXCVB says you can't turn off Linux. There's no device to do that. Okay. So Mike was talking about the old system. Yeah, I know, no doubt. Glad he wasted his time. But Mike was talking about the old system, and for the 5 nines, 99999. But with the, what do I want to say? With the Linux system, I'm still waiting for an answer for you on that. I obviously got some bad timing for reaching out to Lindy and getting an answer on that one. So I'll stick with that and hopefully have an answer for you. I'm hoping by the end of today. And on that 15 seconds, why yours? The 15 seconds, that to me, that's to power down. That's reasonable. That sounds reasonable to me. 30 minutes, different. That doesn't. So I want to find out why yours is going for 30 minutes. If it truly is, or if it's just, if for some reason the lights are on, or what, I don't know. I want to find out why. Because that's just a different story to me. Like, 15 seconds versus 30 minutes is night and day. Right? Okay, so I'm going to find that out. I know. Love that it was wasted, huh, Mike? All right. Yes, Duncan, Oklahoma, we can do teams as well. So we've got refrigerated and teams available. I definitely say 3 weeks out for the teams. 2 to 3 weeks out as a solo position. And yeah, we figure for every 7 days you're out, it's a day and a half home time. Mm-hmm. Yep. I Excellent. Okay. All right, you guys, I will let you go for today. Appreciate you staying on and asking your questions. Thanks for your patience since I didn't know the one answer, and I'm going to have to get back to you on that and fill you in. And if you have any other questions, please reach out to our recruiting department at 888-668-0698. If it's a safety question, please reach out to our safety department at 515-574-4327. 515-574-4327. Yes, that would be great. And keep you in the loop. If you don't have any more questions, I'll let you leave for the day. But I'll be here for any other questions at 888-668-0698. All right, you guys have a great rest of your day. And again, I appreciate you taking the time.